Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Amar Elm, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we are absolutely thrilled to be joined by Dr. Tara Tobias, founder of Rehab HQ Global, a neurologic physical therapist and rehabilitation expert dedicated to empowering patients to take control of their recovery through accessible education and innovative online training. Tara, welcome to Founders Future.
Thank you for having me.
I am excited to dive in.
Me too.
I would like to start from the beginning. So take me back to before you started Rehab HQ Global. What were you doing beforehand, and then what was really the motivation behind starting the company?
Sure. So as you mentioned, I'm a neurologic physical therapist, and I had been. I'm sorry about that.
Okay.
Let me silence your phone. I'm really sorry about that. Yeah, so I was a physical therapist, or I am a physical therapist. I had worked in the system, in the traditional healthcare system, for about 12 years, strictly in neuro. I had gone across the spectrum. I'd done inpatient rehab, and then the last 5 years of my career in the system, I was in outpatient. And when I got to outpatient, I just realized there were a lot of things that I wanted to do with my patients that, based on insurance limitations and what kind of like the traditional healthcare model looks like, you couldn't really do that. So that's when I decided to go out on my own and just treat patients privately. So that led to my first business or solopreneur opportunity, or where I went from there is I was just treating patients privately, and then was trying to get my name out there more because doctors will really refer within the system. So I had to find other ways to let the public know I existed. And so that led me to do some research. I found YouTube's the #2 search engine. So I figured that would be my marketing strategy to get patients in the door. Then that kind of evolved into its own thing. The YouTube videos kind of took off, and I noticed there was a much bigger need that was lacking within our healthcare system and really across the world. I was getting people reaching out to me from other countries that said, I didn't even know that like you could do all of this after a stroke or after a neurologic injury. So then I really focused in really hard on growing the YouTube channel. So that kind of branched off into its own business. And then, of course, I want to be able to continue to provide free information because there's a lot of people that are either underinsured or uninsured, or they live in a country that doesn't really have good rehab. So then I started to think of YouTube more as a business and how could I generate revenue and help people across the spectrum. So I wanted to be able to help people that couldn't afford anything, but I also wanted to be able to provide services a little bit more for people who maybe could afford a little bit more. So that's when I came up with my membership tiers. Now I have 3 membership tiers, and then I do a little bit of affiliate marketing on the side to just to have an additional revenue stream, getting into like product development and stuff like that now to again help people, but also to create more of those revenue streams.
Yeah, that's awesome. And for the people listening, you've got a nice silver plaque from YouTube in your background. So congrats to that, first off. I'm curious, when did you first start to realize that you can make money from YouTube? And what did it look like initially in terms of how you were generating revenue as opposed to what it looks like today?
Yeah, for any of you that are thinking of going down that road, it's not for the faint of heart. It was hundreds and hundreds of hours of learning how to edit, learning how to upload. It was just like a process. It was like knowledge that evolved over time. A lot of times you don't know what you don't know. And so it's basically just tackling issues as they come up. And so you're Google searching or you're searching the internet pre-chat GPT about how to do certain things on YouTube. Then you start to learn that you can monetize your videos. And so then, of course, you start looking, what does it take to monetize a video? So then you learn you have to have 1,000 subscribers. At least that's what it was back then. How many hours of watch time do you have to have? And then you become a partner, a YouTube partner. And so then that opens another box of things that you have to start searching. That's literally how it's evolved step by step to this day. It
Mm,
usually starts out as I'm searching something else, and it's, oh, there are these other opportunities out there to monetize your channel, affiliate partners, things like that. So, yeah, it's a process that always starts from curiosity of not
okay.
knowing something and looking for the answer to something.
Yeah, 100%. I'm curious because I feel like a lot of YouTubers feel like the only way to monetize is either AdSense is I think is the word AdSense, and then affiliates. But it sounds like you also created your own offerings with the membership tiers and whatnot. So I'm curious, where did that come from in terms of the idea of, hey, I can just create my own products and use the audience that I already have as a use YouTube as a marketing channel and as a marketing tool. So I would love to know where that came from and what it looks like today, the membership tiers, and really dive into that a little bit further.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm in a very niche market. So it's a very small part of physical therapy. And I knew I'm never going to grow to like a million subscriber YouTube channel just based on my niche. So
Mm,
it was really, how do I how do I how do I monetize this or make it something where I'm at least breaking even? That was
mm,
really my main goal. Is I want to keep providing these free videos, but it's taking so much of my time and I was treating in person. So it was really like I just need to find other ways to create revenue streams, and that's where it came from. And I knew that I had stuff for this population of people that
mm,
if they had the resources, it would be affordable to opt into this membership. And then it's really, I say this to anyone who's getting started, you really just have to dive in. And so then I found a virtual assistant on Upwork, and he had great ideas.
nice.
He was like, you could do Q&As. And so then he got my wheels spinning, and then it evolved into like webinars and Q&As. And now it really is a comprehensive program. I really do believe I've created something where even if you don't have access to physical therapy, I'm teaching people how to be their own therapist. All of my tools have been built around that, but it's just being open-minded to what other people have to say and entertaining any thought, not
Yeah.
leaving any thought off the table. And so then once I started doing the Q&As, and I realized that some people just wanted access to me. I like not access to me, but some people just wanted to ask a question. So then it was like, how do I give people that opportunity at a very low membership tier? So then it started out as one membership tier, but then it was like they just gave a little bit. I could invest some money into creating like a discussion board. And so then that's when I did created the discussion board that's part of the membership now, but it's like the lowest level tier, so it's affordable for a lot of people. And you just keep learning and you find the problems and you solve the problems and make it more valuable. It's become more valuable over time.
Yeah, I love that. And you evolve over time. You listen to different ideas, you're open to new concepts. I think that's a great meta point that the listeners can take away is the importance of that as a founder, especially. Walk me through with the memberships. Who would you say I don't know if ideal customer is the right word for your audience, but who would you say that you serve in terms of how you would categorize them. And then from there, I'd love to get into the differences between the different tiers.
Sure. So I would say initially, I started out trying to optimize for people that were searching for ways to solve their movement related problems. And those are the people that I really targeted. But I would say my end goal. So, for example, someone has a neurologic injury, they're going to physical therapy, they're being double booked, they're not getting the hands-on, they're not getting their questions answered. And so they're going to the internet and they're looking for those answers. And so that's who I was really targeting because I knew what they were searching. I had spent enough time just with my own practice of seeing people in person to know what they were searching. Now, the membership that I offer, I really want my goal is, or my vision is, I want to meet people at the very beginning. There is stuff that they are just not getting in the traditional healthcare system. They're being told that once you've had brain damage, there's no fixing it, which is absolutely not true. It's very outdated
Wow.
data that just doesn't hold true. We have better imaging studies now. We know that the brain can rewire after a neurologic injury. So it's just a lot of diet, nutrition. I want to get people all the things that I know are absolutely essential that I've learned over the course of 22 years of doing this, of certain lifestyles, certain behaviors that people implement early, how much further they get. And it's just stuff that we don't focus on in the healthcare system, like diet, nutrition, your mindset, having the right support. If you don't have the right support, what are some other options? If you don't have physical therapy, what are some other things you can start doing day one instead of waiting until you're 2 years out and you're discouraged and you're disheartened and you're craving anything. You'll take whatever anyone has, which is
Yeah.
primarily what I get now is like people are desperate and they're searching and they don't feel like they're where they want to be. And that's who I get now. But again, I want to reach people at the beginning of their
Yeah.
journey.
What are some strategies that you have in mind to make that happen?
Lots and lots of videos. It's becoming, I'm getting a lot more people very early on now, which I would say even 3 or 4 years ago was not happening. I think the pandemic helped a lot because people just got comfortable with searching for health related answers on the internet. Because
Yeah.
especially in rehab, initially, patients, that's when my YouTube channel really grew, was during the pandemic. And it's because just one day they were going to physical therapy, and the next day they were told, you can't go to physical therapy. We're on
Yeah.
indefinitely. And it's what are they supposed to do? So they're used to that now. And so I feel like the more people get comfortable with just like seeking out their own answers and their own information, it's just going to organically grow, if that makes sense. Did I answer your question?
You did, you did, you
Okay.
did. You were saying you want to meet people in the very beginning before they've reached the state of they're desperate, they need to figure something out. Were you gonna say
Yeah. Yeah, I was. I now remember your question. You were saying like, so what are your strategies that you're gonna do to get there? I don't think I really answered that, but it's just putting tons and tons of content out. That's not to grow a channel, it's to reach more people.
Mm,
I feel like that's where a lot of influencers or YouTubers that I do follow, because I like to learn like what are ways to grow your brand or whatever. But I feel like there's so much focus on, yeah, create content so you can grow and get more subscribers. But it's really just you got to throw out a huge net, right? The bigger the net, the more of the fish you're gonna grab, right? So
yeah,
that's my strategy is like, how many different angles can I come at this? How many different ways can I take this information and put it in a language that will resonate with someone?
yeah. I like that. Walk me through the membership tiers so the listeners have a little bit more context.
Yeah, so the lowest level tier, they get PDF handouts of anything I put on YouTube. So I try and do a summary. If there's exercises, they get like a home exercise program. That's the lowest level tier. And then there's a middle tier where, and this is, I think, valuable for your audience of where like you just have to be curious and flexible with your strategy. So I wanted a home exercise program for the patients that I was seeing in person and couldn't really find anything that had the types of exercises
Mm,
that address neurologic conditions. I was like, if I create this let me create it myself instead of just videoing myself doing something, which is what I was doing before, or videoing the patient doing it and then sending them all these videos. Why don't I put it in some kind of a software system where I could actually send them legitimate like home exercise programs? So I did that. And then I was like, I could just make this available and make this a tier on its own. So that's what I did. People in the middle tier, they get access to my home exercise vault that I create programs from the patients that I see in person. And then the third tier is they get a little bit more one-on-one. So we have the Q&As. So now if they know specifically what they want to work on or they know what skill they want to learn, then they can ask specific questions about how to think about their home exercise program. And again, they're still creating their home exercise program, but with the webinars and the Q&As, they're learning how to think so that they can make the decisions and select the exercises that are best for them. So what I try and do is, how do I think as a therapist, and how do I create those programs for the patients that I see in person? And then I try and create webinars around that. And then again, during the Q&As, they can ask questions about those things. And then just recently is when we started the discussion board. And that's because we were just getting bombarded with like emails, phone calls, like calling me at my office of people that just wanted to ask like a question. So I was like, a discussion board would be a great way for all tiers to be able to just ask questions, and they can interact with me directly through the
Yeah.
discussion board.
Very cool. Very cool. And when it comes to people enrolling, is it a direct to cart thing where they just go on the website and then they sign up in the tier that makes sense, or do they hop on a call beforehand? How does that work?
Yeah, so they have both options now. Thankfully, I have a great assistant who really understands the programs and does a great job explaining them. So they can schedule a discovery call with her, but it also there's a checkout page. It takes them. We have it linked up to a couple of payment gateways, and it's pretty seamless. That's really very easy. If you just you can hire a web developer on Upwork who can do that for you, add a checkout page to your website if you have an existing website. I thankfully, from my first business, I had a web developer and like a marketing team that helped me build my first website back in 2015 for the patients that I was seeing in person. And so I was very lucky that I still had access to that team. So then as I started to build out this second business, I had a lot of those people in place that I trusted that I knew could help me do it.
I love that. What would you say is your main focus now?
Growing the membership and providing more value. So I've got
Mm.
lots of ideas on creating like AI type coaches to even take it like a level deeper for people that are members, where they can actually interact with an AI and have like, I want to design the logic. So I don't want to just use like a chat bot. Like I really want to be in control of how that logic flows. So I'm really working on that right now to see if maybe I can incorporate some more AI stuff. And I know that over the next couple of years, that's going to evolve. And so I want things in place now so that I'm ready for that when things are a little bit cheaper to build out, like an AI coach and things like that. So I'm really focused on that. And again, just providing as much value as I can for the members, but also for the world. Not to be too like dramatic, but there is a need here. And when you can empower someone, their health turns around, their life turns around, they're less reliant on the system, they're less dependent on their family. Like it has a ripple effect to just empower someone with the ability to know that they can get better and that they can be more independent, but then also giving them tools that work to be able to get themselves to that level like on their own. That's truly what I'm passionate about.
I love that. What advice would you give? Because I have a lot of coaches and consultants that listen to this, and a lot of them want to leverage YouTube specifically. So for people that are brand new to posting content on YouTube, what advice would you give them to staying authentic, but also making sure that it's effective and it actually converts?
Yeah, so I'll give you like two sides of the coin of like kind of like the strategy decision, but just also more of like the emotional evolution, or like you as a person, how you evolve when you put a camera in front of your face and you have to talk to a camera. Anyone you can give my YouTube channel, if you go back to the very beginning, it's cringeworthy, but I refuse to take them down because it's helpful for me to see that you can only get better if like you're slightly embarrassed about like your current work. So how do you do that is I had to get really good at not focusing on the camera and putting a person there.
Mm.
That was probably when I flipped that switch a little bit, my communication style got a lot better, in my opinion. It's easier for me to create content if I can visualize a specific person who's asking that question or who I've explained this to either in person or online. So if I get a lot of comments online about a specific topic, like I'm visualizing what that person is going through. Why did they ask this question? What problem are they having? Like I really try and make sure that I understand who that person is that asked that question before I turn the camera on. And then I'm just speaking to that person. I think a mistake that I see a lot is people are trying to reach everyone with every video. I personally think a better strategy is just talk to one person because there are going to be multiple people that fit that mold, but they're all the comment that I get the most is I feel like you were talking to me, or I feel like literally some people were like, I'm a little bit suspicious that you're like listening in on my conversations and stuff like that. And that is a compliment because it means that I really took the time. I heard that person, even though I didn't. I'm not listening to anyone that watches my videos. But like when someone says that, I feel like that's like when you've hit the sweet spot.
And they feel really understood and heard by you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you talk to that one person, there's gonna be 100 other people or even 10 other people that fit that exact same mold.
What is the best way for people to reach out to you to work with you?
As far as patients,
Patients or even joining the membership?
yeah, the best way is just go to rehab-hq.com
Okay.
and they can either schedule a call to talk to my assistant or they can just sign up right from the homepage.
Awesome. And then
But what I really, can I give one, if you really want me to plug something,
go for
if
it.
it's for people, I would really love for them to start on the YouTube channel. I really want to help as many people as I can without them having to spend any money.
Mm.
I'm very passionate about that. So I would rather people exhaust everything they can for free first.
And then where do they go for the YouTube channel?
I think it's Rehab HQ. Give me a second here.
Can't believe you don't have
Rehab
to tell me this.
Rehab HQ official. It's because like whatever those handles were all taken. So it's Rehab
Yeah.
HQ official on YouTube and it's Rehab HQ global.
Today we're going to talk about chronic inflammation.
Oh, I'm on it right now. That's me. That's my fault.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I
Because my channel does that.
was going to check it out right now. That's my fault.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Thank you so much for your time. Any final words before we wrap up?
No, yes, I do. And I tell everyone this, whether you have a business that you want to scale or not, you should start a YouTube channel. It's probably the greatest thing I did for my ability to communicate, me personally, just as a human. I think that everyone should do it just for life experience.
Awesome. Tara, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. So that wraps up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to go to Rehab HQ Official on YouTube. Go subscribe to Tara's channel. You can also go to the website rehab-hq.com. And if you are a business owner, specifically a coach, consultant, or agency owner, and you're really looking to scale your business and you want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to hop on a call with our team and discover how we were able to go from $0 to $30 million in less than 3 years. Until then, keep on climbing.